Happy Tuesday, historians. Today we're going to do a quick overview of South Africa and Nelson Mandela and the apartheid that took place in South Africa. Before we get into apartheid and Nelson Mandela, just a few quick facts about South Africa to give you an idea of what kind of country it is. It's located, as we know, in the southern end of Africa. It's actually very, very large. It's 5 times larger than Great Britain and 3 times the size of Texas. So, very, very big country. It's also very, very diverse. 71% of the population is Black, so that is the majority by far, and that's important to know. 16% of the population is white. 10% of the population is what is called colored, which really is just a mixture of black and white, or white and Asian, or black and Asian. And then they have a 3% Asian population. What's important to note here is the discrepancy between the Black majority and the white minority. That plays a huge role in this apartheid issue. Apartheid, if you've already done the blend space for this week, you know is a system of segregation that took place from 1948 to the 1990s in South Africa. This is where the minority white population controlled the government and had all of the power in the country, though the majority of the population was African American. An individual that is a very important individual to know about is Nelson Mandela. He was the leader of what it was called the African National Congress, or the ANC. He did a lot of things to help fight the apartheid in South Africa, and some of those things actually ended up having him imprisoned for 27 years in South Africa. As segregation and as the apartheid took place over those 50 plus years in South Africa, the world started to change. People started to put pressure on South Africa to change their ways. They started to not get invited to major sporting events like the World Cup, and a lot of political pressure was being put on South Africa to end this racial segregation in the country, which leads to F.W. de Klerk. In 1999, he became president of South Africa and started to work to dismantle the system in South Africa of apartheid. Almost immediately, he renounced the ban on the ANC, that group that Mandela was leader of, and in 1990, Mandela was pardoned by de Klerk and became a free man after serving those 27 years. The end of apartheid. So President de Klerk worked from within the government to end apartheid, while Mandela resumed his position as the president of the ANC and worked to end apartheid from the outside. In 1993, de Klerk and Mandela shared the Nobel Peace Prize for their work to end the apartheid in South Africa and moving the country peacefully to a non-racial democracy. And in 1994, South Africa actually held its first ever election open to all races within the country. And Nelson Mandela, that guy who was in prison for 27 years and the leader of the ANC, actually became president of South Africa in 1994. To the left, you can see a picture of de Klerk and Mandela. And on the right, you can see an image of Mandela there being released from prison after 27 years. There's de Klerk and Mandela in 92, and on the right there, you have Mandela voting in 1994. He was obviously voting for himself as he was running for president that year in South Africa. And you can see here what kind of excitement there was surrounding these free elections in 1994. On the left, you have those massive, massive lines to the voting booths. And on the right, you have a huge rally for Mandela to become president in South Africa. That's a picture of Nelson Mandela, and this is a short, brief overview of apartheid in South Africa. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good Tuesday and continue to work on your assignments.